She could have sent him to prison with one phone call. Before you judge what happens next, listen carefully. Your answer might change. Kai didn't look up from his screen. His hands moved too fast, too confident, like he belonged there. He didn't. Nora froze in the doorway. The lights were supposed to be off. The building was supposed to be empty. But there he was, some skinny teenager sitting cross-legged on the marble floor of the executive wing, plugged into a system that controlled half the city's data. Her first thought, intruder. Her second thought, how did he get past security? Then she saw the cleaning cart in the corner, and she understood. Nora's jaw tightened. She'd built this company from dirt. 12-hour days, 14 failed pitches, 3 mortgages, 160 employees who trusted her. And now some kid who had no business being here was inside her system. She took one step forward. Kai's head snapped up. Their eyes met. He looked calm. Too calm for someone caught red-handed. Don't move, Nora said. Her voice was ice. Behind Kai, a woman appeared from the shadows. Short, older, wearing a custodian uniform with a name tag that read Gloria. Gloria's face went pale. Ms. Brooks, please. Explain. Now. My daughter's in surgery tonight. Emergency appendix. Couldn't leave him home. He's 12. I had no choice. You brought a child into a private office building after hours and gave him access to secured systems? No. He wasn't supposed to touch anything. He promised. Kai interrupted. She didn't give me access. Nora's eyes snapped to him. Excuse me? Your security's trash, Kai said flatly. Your login credentials are stored in plain text in a temporary cache file. I didn't hack anything. I just looked. Nora's stomach dropped. He was 12 years old, and he'd just described a vulnerability her team had missed for 8 months. Stand up, she said. Kai stood. He was short, messy hair, sneakers held together with duct tape. Nora crossed the room and looked at his screen. Her breath caught. He wasn't playing games. He wasn't browsing. He was inside the back end of Vanguard, her company's new cloud infrastructure system. The one that had been crashing every 16 hours for the last 3 weeks. The one that was burning through investor money like gasoline. The one her best engineers couldn't fix. What are you doing in there? She asked quietly. Kai adjusted his glasses. Fixing your memory leak. Nora blinked. What? You've got a thread spawning issue in your load balancer. Every time a user session times out, the system tries to deallocate memory but doesn't actually release it. So it just piles up until the whole thing crashes. Nora stared at him. This was impossible. Show me. If you were standing there, would you have walked away? Kai sat back down. His fingers flew across the keys. Nora pulled up a chair. Gloria stood in the corner, hands clasped, silent. For the next 40 minutes, Kai walked Nora through the code like he was explaining how to tie a shoe. He pointed at clusters of variables, highlighted loops that never closed, drew invisible diagrams in the air with his hands. See this? He said, tapping the screen. You're using a deprecated garbage collection model. Tries to clean up, but it doesn't force termination. So the dead threads stay alive in the background. That's why your CPU spikes at 96% before the crash. Nora's chest felt tight. She'd hired people with PhDs for this. People who charged $400 an hour. And this kid in torn sneakers had just explained the problem in under a minute. How do you know this? She asked. Kai shrugged. I like computers. That's not an answer. I taught myself. YouTube. Library books. Sometimes I fix stuff on Reddit for fun. Nora leaned back. She studied him. Really looked. He didn't look cocky. Didn't look proud. Just focused. Like this was normal. Can you fix it? She asked. Kai nodded. Yeah. Easy. How long? Maybe an hour. If you let me. Nora glanced at Gloria. The woman's eyes were wet. Terrified. Nora should have called security. Should have reported this. Filed an incident. Protected the company. Instead, she said, do it. Kai worked. Nora watched. Gloria brought them coffee from the break room. Her hands shook as she poured. At 2:47 a.m., Kai hit enter. The system rebooted. Nora held her breath. The dashboard loaded. Clean. Green across the board. CPU usage, 18%. Memory stable. No errors. Kai leaned back and cracked his knuckles. Done. Nora ran a full diagnostic. Then another. Then a third. Perfect. Flawless. She turned to Kai, and for the first time in 3 years, she didn't know what to say. You just saved my company, she whispered. Kai blinked. Cool. Do you understand what that means? Not really. Nora laughed. Came out sharp. Almost broken. That system you fixed is worth $40 million. We were about to lose everything. Kai looked uncomfortable. I just changed like 6 lines of code. 6 lines my entire team missed. Silence. Nora turned to Gloria. Does he go to school? Yes, ma'am. Lincoln Middle. Does he have a computer? Gloria's face flushed. We share an old laptop. It's slow, but does he have anyone teaching him? Mentors? Programs? Gloria shook her head. We can't afford that stuff. Nora's hands curled into fists. She thought about her own childhood. The scholarship that saved her. The professor who believed in her when no one else did. She thought about how close she'd come to calling the cops on this kid. How close she'd come to throwing away brilliance because it showed up in the wrong package. She made a decision. Gloria, you're getting a promotion. Head of operations. Salary starts at $90,000. Gloria gasped. Ms. Brooks. And Kai. Nora turned to him. I'm putting you in my junior developer program. You'll work with my team 2 afternoons a week. Paid. I'll also cover a personal tutor, new equipment, and whatever school expenses you need. Kai stared at her. Why? Because you're better than half the people I pay 6 figures. But I'm 12. I don't care. I broke into your system. You improved my system. Kai looked at his grandmother. She was crying. He looked back at Nora. What if I mess up? Then you'll learn, Nora said. Same as everyone else. This is the moment people argue about. 3 months later, Vanguard launched nationwide. 0 crashes. 0 complaints. Nora's investors were ecstatic. Her stock price tripled. Forbes called her a visionary. But she didn't do interviews. Instead, she did something else. She started a scholarship fund. Full ride for kids like Kai. Kids who were smart but unseen. Kids whose talent was buried under poverty. She called it the Second Look Initiative. Because that's all it took. A second look. At the launch event, a reporter asked her, what inspired this program? Nora smiled. A 12-year-old who reminded me that genius doesn't wait for permission. On Kai's first day at the Advanced Coding Academy, Nora drove him herself. They sat in the car outside the building. Kai looked nervous. You're going to be the youngest one in there, Nora said. I know. Some of them are going to doubt you. I know. You're going to prove them wrong. Kai looked at her. What if I don't? Nora met his eyes. Then you'll try again. That's the deal. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to show up. Kai nodded. He got out of the car. Nora watched him walk through the glass doors, backpack slung over one shoulder. She thought about the night she almost destroyed his future. The night she almost let fear make the choice. If this moment made you feel something, tap like and share so someone else can feel it too. That evening, Nora called her sister. They hadn't spoken in 2 years. I'm sorry, Nora said. Her sister was quiet. Then, what changed? I remembered what matters. They talked for 3 hours. Kai graduated top of his class. At 16, he built an app that detected cyberbullying in real time. Sold it for 7 figures. Gave half to his old school district. At 18, he joined Nora's company full-time. At 22, he became the youngest VP in the company's history. At 25, he started his own firm. And at 27, he launched a foundation that gave free coding boot camps to kids in underserved neighborhoods. He named it after his grandmother. Nora retired at 53. She didn't need the money. didn't need the stress. She spent her days mentoring, teaching, listening. On her last day at the office, Kai showed up with flowers. "You didn't have to do this," Nora said. "Yes, I did." They sat on the balcony. The city stretched below them like a glowing grid. "Can I ask you something?" Kai said. "Always. That night, when you found me, you could have ended everything for me and my grandma. Why didn't you?" Nora was quiet for a long time. "Because I saw myself," she finally said. "And I saw what I could have been if someone hadn't given me a second look." Kai smiled. "You changed my life." Nora shook her head. "No, you changed mine. Sometimes the person you think you're saving is actually saving you. Sometimes brilliance doesn't knock. It just shows up, quietly, in torn sneakers and borrowed time. And sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is walk away." Was Nora brave or reckless? Type your answer in the comments. Because the truth is, she gambled everything on a 12-year-old she didn't know, and it could have destroyed her.